And I don't know whether I told this story about the humility that he had and what I learned in terms of his humility when he used to tell me this. Tell me whether I have already discussed this about his, when he was working, what I learned from him. And I only learned from him by what I saw. And that was the way he did things. And I went to his drugstore, Wayland Drugstore, and I saw him talking to this patient who came in, who was sitting there screaming at him that somebody had done him wrong before him, one of his other colleagues, and they'd gotten the wrong medicine, and that he was just absolutely flabbergasted. And my father, in his quiet way, said, "I'm glad to help you. I'll help you in any way I can." And he didn't tell him to shut up. He didn't raise his voice. He just calmly said it. And as he said it and spoke to this man in this nice way, the man calmed down. And I'm sitting there watching this.
How old were you?
I don't know, I probably was 8. Could have been a little older, but I remember this to this day. And that how he just diffused the situation and calmed it. And that he could have done nothing better than to do it that way. And I learned from that in everything that I do. And particularly if the situation is, very chaotic. I learned that particularly to do that from him, and learned it in medical school, that the people who were the ones who were most in charge were the ones who were the calmest. And even if they may not know what to do, if they spoke calmly and they acted nicely to the people in front of them, they were in control of the situation. And you just say, well, that doesn't hold true if you're not in medicine. I said, of course it does. And it holds true whether you're in real estate, in occupational therapy, if you're a lawyer, if you're a doctor. And as I tell the grandchildren, I tell them all, and Jacob and Hannah and Charlie and Haley, and I hope and I expect that they will transmit this, even if they don't fully understand it at their age. They will remember it in some way, and this is what you do. And that my father, this is just an aside, but I remember how he was in terms of protecting people in the store. Now, I wasn't there when this happened. I heard about this secondarily, but at the Wayland Drugstore on 6th and Western, somebody came in and decided to rob one of the patients standing in front of my father. And he was the manager of the store at the time and was absolutely outraged by this. And the person stole the woman's purse and ran out the store, and my father ran after him. Wow. And caught him outside the store, and the guy turned around, and I don't think that he had a gun or a knife, but he could have, and my father punched him.
Wow.
My father, no training as far as I know in fighting back, punched this guy. Turns out the guy was a former prize fighter. And he said, and he in fact said, "You don't do that to my customers." And I heard this story from somebody else. He never told me. And
wow. He was a prize fighter. Who was it? Do you remember his name?
Don't know. Don't know whether, the truth about the story or not, but it's almost irrelevant.
Yeah.
Is that my father would elect to do this, as peaceful a man as he was, as humble the man, and he wouldn't harm anybody, and yet you don't do that to my people. And that's a very, important thing that is in the Bible and in the Talmud and everything that I've learned, and whether it's about my patients or my friends or my relatives, you don't do that to them. And everybody knows that. And you'd say, and we have a lot of people who just turn a closed eye to this.
Yeah.
Wow.
He couldn't do that.